syntax with synergy, trigger words, twist through the circuits of my energy. Brainwave blank vault, tongue to the treasury, spin math metaphors, dead to divinity. Algorithm in my arteries, automate arteries, heartbeat metronome matching the market's arteries. Binary breathing, I'm breathing in bit rates. Mind say, minute drum that dictates, break beats in the ledger, letterhead leverage. Every phone we coded phonetic inheritance, wordplay weaponized, whipping check verified. Every line liquefied, solidify, terrified. Make that money, yeah. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk. Make that money, prove. Make that money, yeah. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk. Make that money, yo. I'm the broker with the broken, turning focus to a token flow so potent, open market slogan, gold in motion. I deposit every moment in a vocal vault while your portfolio crash my default to exalt them. Pound cadence like compound interest, every syllable invested, principle relentless, equity and eloquence. My ETF is elegance, every round my dividend, precision ever sent. Microchip money, neural net, hustle AI muscle, make fiat, work on mine like a ledger, line by measure, time my treasure, grind for pleasure, metaphor mending, simile spinning, every breath banking, never pretending, volcano veins, that's molding gain. I'm coining phrases that point my name. Yeah, I talk fast and cognitive cash, verbal velocity turning thought to a stat, flash in the plan, not flash in the pan. Fiscal alchemist, gold in my hand, wriggle trade bars, each syllable stock split, every tick-tock, that's clockwork profit. Cognitive commodities, I corner the mindset, brain full of data like a Bloomberg headset, flash crash cadence, volatile tone, my thoughts hedge funds when I'm left alone, precision, incision with vision, cut ball sharp like fiscal decisions, molecular market, my metrics mechanical, perfect paradigm, parabolic botanical, philosophical dividend, syllable citizens, infinite looping like time, never discipline. Make that money, yeah. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk. Make that money, talk. Make that money, yeah. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk. Make that money, prove. They want fame, I want float. They want clout, I quote growth. Why they toast, I'll post goals. Profits, phantom stocks in a trench coat. I got liquidity locked, y'all. Can't stop spitting that guap raw. Every tick that clock jaw drops. Profit pop, non-stop. Shot. Make that money, yeah. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk. Make that money, move. Make that money, talk.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Tuesday, July the 28th. We are almost at the end of the best month of the entire year, so I hope you're crushing it. Personally, I'm not, but hey, that's my burden to bear. Folks, we have a lot to talk about, and I do enjoy, once again, kind of getting back to normal because there's a lot going on in the overall global political market. We have a lot going on with individual equities. We have some monetary policy updates. We have some really interesting positioning in the overall market, and once again, individual equities. I have some positional stuff to break down for you. I was fighting with Claude all night, all morning to do some systematic trading with all of you guys today. So in a nutshell, we have a lot to chit-chat about, which kind of means that the next 25 minutes, well, you better buckle up, bucko. If you haven't already, before we get rocking, if you guys could help me out, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Even commenting in chat, talking to either your friend or your nemesis. Do we have any people? Actually, that's a really good question. Does anyone in here, it's one thing if you have a friend in chat. That makes sense. I'm sure you guys have had friends, but does anyone in here have a nemesis in chat that we need to know about? Because that honestly could be even more exciting if you ask me. People in here that maybe there's two people, maybe even more. Maybe it's like a whole nemesis group going on, but people that specifically hate another person in chat, because that could really get us going. So whether you want to say hi to your friend in chat, or maybe you want to say something incredibly negative and mean to your nemesis in chat, that's where we could get going. I don't have friends. That's all right, G, because all you need in this world is one good nemesis to really keep you going. And then that's all you got to do to get out of it. I think, honestly, properly used, rage is a great way to kind of keep yourself on the right path. There's not many things in this world that get you to do what you need to be doing rather than rage. So don't forget that. Anyway, I digress. Let's take a little looky-see at what's going on. SPY slightly green. NASDAQ, slightly red. Coca-Cola had earnings, did well, up 4%. PayPal had earnings up 1%. UPS had earnings actually down 4.6%. So we have some movement in the overall market. We have some movement in individual equities. But if you're looking at this now, it doesn't really properly describe what happened overnight. Here's a look at the NASDAQ. At one point, around 2 in the morning, things were looking pretty freaking brutal, like really, really brutal. This is the NQ. It's the NASDAQ futures contract. So we get this overnight session, opens up at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when we hit the high. And then we basically sold off straight until 2 in the morning. And then from there, maybe a little bit of a double bottom, a little bit of a rebound right now. But if you happen to be trading in Korea, things got really crazy. South Korea's stock market falls nearly 8% as the global chip stock sell-off accelerates. So I don't know how many of you are trading on the South Korean market or you have anything that's potentially related, but it was a brutal overnight session. So I want to be circling back to that. But first, you should know that there is larger news going on in terms of the world. Trump talks up Iran diplomacy as negotiations focus on Hormuz. So, okay, that sounds kind of good. And we see that the market is quote unquote buying it because oil is really dropping. Oil going from 92 down to 81, more than $10 a barrel. So even the market is saying, okay, maybe these talks are going to lead to something positive. Iran hosts Hormuz calls with Saudi Arabia, Oman, as Trump hails good talks. Iran said that it has held Hormuz calls with Saudi and Omanian representatives to establish stability in the region and eliminate the insecurity imposed on the Strait of Hormuz. The pause in U.S.-Iran fighting appeared to hold today, Tuesday, after 2 weeks of strikes. So it's more of this of like, we know we've been in this ceasefire, but then yet bombs are still getting slung this way, that way, and every way. But the fact that for now, knock on wood, fingers crossed, this ceasefire appears to be holding, at least for a 48-hour period. And obviously, the market is rewarding all this in the world with that. Trump hailed the good talks, but Iran denied direct negotiations are taking place, which is a story that we've already heard probably 10 times in the past 2 months. So please keep that in mind. Breaking, President Trump says that he's ready for strong military action if Iran talks fail. So you can't really have the good without the bad without the good, the yin without the yang. So even though they're being hailed as good, Trump made it very, very clear that he's still willing to bomb everyone and anyone because he can. Details include, we are in very deep talks with Iran. If they don't work out, we will go back to very strong military action. When asked how long he'll be willing to give diplomacy, Trump said not much time. Trump said he decided to pause strikes on Friday because the countries that are mediating asked him to give negotiators another chance. U.S. oil prices are now trading at 84. We're down even since then. So basically, he's attempting to get the best of both worlds. Hey, talks are going well. I'm confident in them. But if they stop going well, I have a little red button on my desk that I can start to press. And most likely, not only are we going to get updates on this situation today, but we're going to get updates related to kind of an old matter at this point, which is still going on. I'm talking about Russia and Ukraine. Zelensky lands in U.S. for Trump talks seeking more air defenses. So I know we haven't spoken about it in a while. And this is circa 2022. We're now in 2026. So this has been going on for 4 years. But yeah, Russia and Ukraine are still fighting. People are still very much losing their lives every single day. And we are still very much footing the bill. So Zelensky will be meeting with Trump today, but he is not the only one. Netanyahu, back-to-back meetings for the president, the chief here. Netanyahu and Zelensky come to D.C. for Graham's funeral, meetings with Trump amid wars. So I believe Zelensky's meeting is first pretty much at stock market open, little bit of a break. Then Netanyahu is having a closed-door meeting with President Trump today as well. So two very important meetings, talking about Ukraine, Russia, talking about Israel, Palestine, and of course the U.S. for whatever, only God knows why, but we're footing the bill for both of these wars. And then obviously we're footing the bill for our own war with Iran. So that's going down today. Don't be surprised if at a random point we are getting an update on this, or if Trump decides to do his own little chit chat about that. He was just on Fox News this morning, I guess, prepping up for the day. But I just wanted to let you know, this is all on the schedule, all obviously stuff that could impact the market. Speaking of things on the schedule, at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting the consumer confidence report. Once again, that comes out at 10 a.m. Today is like a little bit of a precursor because, as you can see, tomorrow is going to be the real show. We get the second Kevin Warsh FOMC decision. That comes out at 2 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Kevin Warsh's press conference will be at 2:30. And then fast forward to Thursday, we get the inflation update, and then Friday we have the normal Friday numbers. So between today, where Trump's probably going to be talking, all the way to the end of this week, we have a lot of action. Kevin Warsh wanted a good family fight at the Fed. He's getting one. The new chairman initiated a debate over how the central bank works, and it could test its tight-lipped approach to the economy. So this is just a changing of guard, a changing of really how things are done. Could it be good? Could it be bad? The answer to both is yes. And I would say we have to just sit back and wait to see how it plays out. We know that they're basically trying to get away from the dot plot, and that's why Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chair, this guy right here, has decided to not give his personal dot in those dot plot updates. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We know that these votes haven't been unanimous. Some people want to keep rates steady. Some want to jack them up. Some want to bring them down. So this quote unquote good, healthy family fight, it is very much taking place. But that's where things took a really weird turn. Before yesterday, the prevailing odds, the sentiment was we will not be getting a rate hike. Probably most likely rates are going to stay pretty consistent. And then bada bing, bada boom, out of nowhere, we saw these odds start to spike. Fed rate decision in July. So right here, a 25 bips increase. I'm not saying decrease. I'm not talking about a Fed rate cut. I'm talking about an increase shot from basically 4 or 5% up to about 25%. And this has all happened in the past couple of days. So that kind of brings the question up of why? Why all of a sudden are we thinking that there's a more than 0% chance of a rate hike, a 25 bips rate hike? Well, Citadel Securities, Ken Griffin, the man who allegedly ruined AMC and hid all of those shares in those trades in dark pools so the darn apes couldn't win anything. The guy allegedly in cahoots with Vlad, the boy from Bulgaria, and Robinhood, and he's the reason GameStop did not make you a multimillionaire. Well, the same Citadel Securities is saying, we're looking at a surprise. Citadel Securities sees Warsh delivering surprise Fed rate hike. Kind of interesting. Citadel Securities expected the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates this week, a move that would strengthen Chairman Kevin Warsh's credibility in a battle with inflation. The quarter-point increase on Wednesday would reinforce Warsh's pledge to restore price stability and show policymakers no longer rely on signaling every policy move well in advance. A surprise increase would influence businesses' pricing decisions and workers' wage demands before the inflation becomes more entrenched, potentially reducing the amount of tightening needed later. So Citadel, Ken Griffin, and all those analysts are saying, actually, we might be looking at that surprise rate hike tomorrow. So just something to put out there, especially if you decide to swing a position overnight. Speaking of overnight, as I already alluded to, South Korea got crazy. Global chip sell-off deepens. Chip stock extends losses across Asia after a sharp U.S. sell-off fueled by concerns of AI spending and China's technological progress. South Korea's KOSPI plunged 10%, the equivalent of their overall market, triggering 2 trading halts, while Japan's market fell 4%. U.S. stock chips remained under pressure pre-market, with Micron, Supermicro, Intel, and NVIDIA all trading lower. So let me go to the 30-minute and kind of show you what's happening early this morning. 30-minute right here. So Intel is currently down 4.8%. Google is actually green. Tesla is down slightly. Micron, a major chip play, is down 6%. SanDisk, another major chip play, is down 7%. NVIDIA is down 0.4%. AMD is down 4%. TSM is down 3.5%. Meta, not really related, slightly green. Broadcom, another chip play, is down 1.8%. NBIS is down 3.7%. Hut, this is a mining play, is down 2.5%. Lam Research is down 4.9%. Marvel, a direct play, is down 4.6%. SpaceX, not so much, but it's down 3.5%. ASML creates some machinery in this world, so it's an upstream play. That's down 4.7%. Amazon, not so related, down, or actually up 0.4%. Oracle, not really. CoreWeave, directly related, down 1.8%. and that's Super Micro is one that they cited. I didn't have that on my list, down 3.9%. So SMH is the ETF tracking semiconductors. This is down 2.7%, 2.8%. So yeah, this particular thing is getting hit. And then memory plays, specifically Micron and SanDisk, which are the two kind of high flying ones, are down pretty considerably, at least from yesterday to today. So yeah, fears kind of playing out overnight. But the question is are people going to come in and buy the dip at these levels? Obviously, stay tuned. Global semiconductor sell-off deepens on China competition. So for those of you wondering about why, well, this is what the fancy guy who is business in the front, party in the back on Bloomberg has to say.
How should we think about Chinese competition right now?
I think, Anna, the issue on Chinese competition is concerning to many players in the market because, of course, we've had lots of IP restrictions on technology going into China. And yet, somehow, China seems to have gone up the technology curve substantially in terms of the ability to produce chips, the ability to create AI frontier models, and potentially now even into chip equipment, which, of course, ASML is really the monopoly for both what they call deep ultraviolet, DUV, and EUV, extreme ultraviolet machines. So that's where I think the concern is coming in from that. And then with regards to the likes of the NVIDIA situation in terms of the circular deals, this isn't a new story in of itself, but the numbers mentioned in terms of dollars continue to move higher and higher. And the worries are how much of the AI ecosystem is being, if you like, artificially inflated by NVIDIA's kind of financing of their own ecosystem.
Okay, and so all of this sets us up for an earnings season still to fully play out from the big hyperscalers in the United States, Neil, in a very nervous fashion, doesn't it? We're concerned about circular financing around NVIDIA and the AI space. We're concerned about Chinese competition, just how much of a build-out do we want to see from these chip companies? And then we're waiting for at least 4 really big corporate earnings from the tech space this week.
We are indeed, and I think the kind of the litmus test last week was the fact that Alphabet delivered their first ever quarter since going public of negative free cash flow. So what are we going to hear from the other tech giants this week? And as you mentioned at the top of the hour, regarding sort of the increasing cost of the debt within the hyperscaler sector. So we want to see where the free cash flow trends play out, and then whether any of those big tech firms will actually blink first and slow the pace of capex. That's not something that we necessarily know just yet, but it's certainly something to watch for this week. Meanwhile, of course, there is another big tech company, Apple, who are not investing hundreds of billions of dollars into the AI race. They're probably waiting to see who wins out, and then we'll sign a deal later on down the line, I think.
Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the hair, but I think he brings up a good point of the current winners and losers. And Apple at first kind of seemed and thought to be a loser and not catching on in the AI competition. But I'll let you know this, Apple is ripping. Not only is it a new all-time high, but because the AI trade is losing a bit of steam, this is also now the most valuable company in the entire world. So regaining that title. Speaking of individual companies, as our partying friend alluded to, yeah, we have major earnings coming up pretty much tomorrow. Today, we did hear from PayPal, Boeing, Coca-Cola, UPS. So if you trade those, you might want to check in on them. Tonight, Visa, Ford, Cheesecake Factory, maybe you guys care about those. But like I said, the party really gets going tomorrow. And don't forget, that's also the FOMC meeting. So tomorrow afternoon, we have the FOMC meeting and we get the earnings of Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, ARM, Qualcomm, Lam Research, Chipotle, and then fast forward to Thursday, Apple, Amazon, Roblox, Reddit, all major reports. And then to cap off the week, we have ExxonMobil, Moderna, Chevron, couple other plays. So this is going to be, by market cap, this is the biggest week, but obviously the next 2 weeks still have a considerable wallop. Speaking of individual companies, Meta is fighting a mountain of social media lawsuits at just the wrong time in the midst of an expensive AI transformation. The company is grappling with litigation that could cost it billions and force painful changes. It relates to kids, specifically a huge jump in depressions, unfortunately unaliving, and like it is pretty bad. And they basically are saying we need better controls for our kids, and what is this doing to the youth of the world? And then on that note, NVIDIA's staff detained by Taiwan in China chip smuggling case. So China also running into some legal issues right now of what are they doing with the chips and who's arresting who. And this kind of, in a certain sense, highlights the continuing chip AI Cold War that we have going on with China. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings. I also happen to pin this to the top of my profile every week. So if you just need a quick update of who's reporting, not reporting, it's in the newsletter. It's also on my Twitter page, all the major macroeconomic events. So today, consumer confidence comes out at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, the Fed interest rate decision. Thursday, PCE, GDP, and initial jobless claims. And then probably the most useful, at least for my day traders, is the seasonality of each day. And I do want to let you know this particular day, Tuesday, July the 28th, it does slightly favor the bulls. Out of the 27 years of information I have, I would say the first 22 were pretty flat. But then recently, we've gotten a bit of a pop. And just over the better part of 3 decades, the bulls have won this individual day about 61% of the time. So about an 11% edge. So is this end all be all? Not really, but I just wanted to share it with you. Later on this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, leaning bullish, Thursday, bearish, Friday, a little bit more neutral. So this particular week, to conclude the month of July, it is a bit more choppy and neutral. There are some bullish periods, there are some bearish periods. So it's not, in my opinion, the most compelling aspect of seasonality right now. I actually find it a lot more useful to be diving into this big player positioning, which brings us to the option setup for today. So just so you know, stability pretty low. It's at 12%. We have negative gamma above all the way up to about 7,450, 7,460, somewhere in that 10-point region. And we have a little bit of stability to be found at 7,400, key technical, key psychological, key gamma level. But if that does not hold, and obviously that would require a little bit of a sell-off to begin with, we actually have negative gamma all the way down to 7,335, 7,340, somewhere here. So a little bit of negative gamma above, a little bit of a positive node at a key technical psychological level of 7,400, and then obviously a lot of negative gamma below. Interesting setup, because that means we have a potentially a decent push to the upside for the bulls. If you are bullish, we're currently trading at 7,438. I could see a push up to 7,450, 7,460. That would effectively be the bull case on the day. The bear case on the day would be a push to 7,400. We don't hold that key level, and then actually a sizable dump all the way down to 7,330, 7,340, with maybe a little bit of a catch at 360 and 385. So obviously that's your bull case, that's your bear case. Personally, I find it useful to know both cases, and then whichever one seems to be developing, you ride with that. I don't think it's ever useful to be like, nope, this is the case, and that's the only one I'm going to be playing for on the day, because half of the time you're going to end up being wrong. On that particular note, I do want to let you know the bulls have an uphill battle. This is kind of like my reach target for the bull case, the 460. I guess right here you could see there's a little bit of a spread going on at 460, 465, 70, something like that. But you could see that it's just positive gamma as we push higher. So like literally the bulls have an uphill battle. What's kind of interesting is to the south side is we have a little bit of protection here at 7,400, a little bit at 370, but that's not much positive gamma on the 0 DTE. So all of a sudden out of the gate, if we see the delta start to drop, that could suggest that this actually goes negative, and then just all this potential energy turns into kinetic energy. And if we kind of bust through this support at 370, we might be talking about 300. So I just want to bring your attention to this, that the positive gamma we have beneath, like these little pockets, they're exactly that. These are little pockets, just in the magnitude of gamma. It gets positive up here, and yeah, that could be a bit of stability. But the fact that we have unknown earnings, questions about CapEx, we don't know what Kevin Warsh is going to do. Citadel Securities just came in and said, hey, they actually might be doing a surprise rate hike. That would be crazy. We have Trump commenting on Iran. We have Trump commenting on Russia, Ukraine. We have Trump commenting on Israel, Palestine. Bunch of meetings going on today. There's a lot of unknowns. And if one of those unknowns breaks in a negative manner, a bearish manner, there's not much gamma beneath to actually catch this. So I'm not actually seeing that much of a support all the way to this zone around 7,300, which on the daily chart kind of spells a serious breakdown. We're right at the 50 EMA right now. So for the swing traders, for the investors, I know they're watching the 50 EMA. So if it breaks 76, what is this? The low from Thursday, the July the 23rd, the next stop is 300. That's this low that we're looking at from late June. And then from there, once again, this is not on a zero DT perspective, but more of a swing perspective. Then we could be talking almost 7,200. So just want to bring your attention to that. On the NASDAQ, it's even worse. The NASDAQ right here, see how the SPX, the S&P 500, it's still green. It's still at the 50 EMA. Overall, it's just trending sideways. If you look at the NASDAQ, it's clearly trending down. We already broke the low from early June. That was 686. We're currently trading at 676. Maybe there's support at 660. There's a downside gap fill all the way to 589. There's a little bit of a downside gap fill to 640. So clearly the tech sector is taking a bigger hit, and we know why. It's because the AI trade that fueled this gigantic rip to the upside. A lot of people are starting to question, is the run over? Obviously, I have no crystal ball. I can't tell you the future. I could just tell you, obviously, comment on my prediction of the short term and more so of what's happening in real time as well. Bitcoin was trying to get going and actually just took a hit last night. I was excited to see if it finally could get going green, but nope, lower high, potentially breaking down. Looking at the small cap sector, actually holding on the best, which this is another piece of the puzzle that suggests, okay, maybe people are starting to get tired of the AI trade and they're pivoting a little bit because small cap sector is holding on the best while these major high flying tech plays related to AI, not so much. So the fact that I see this most strength in the Russell and the most weakness in the tech sector, or what's commonly thought to be the tech dominant sector, the NASDAQ 100, kind of gives you an idea that, yeah, maybe people are getting a little bit tired. Now, of course, that could change, especially after the next round of big earnings updates, because maybe Microsoft, Apple come in and they're like, no, CapEx is great. We love what's going on. AI is here. And that could, quote unquote, save the whole trade. But we just have to wait. We just have to be patient on that whole situation. All right. So that's the larger picture. Of course, throughout the day, we're going to be looking at the options flow. We'll start to get this as soon as the market opens. Shout out to Spot Gamma. I do have Bookmap. Shout out to Bookmap. Just so you guys know, Tradeify, this deal is going to be ending soon. Today is July 28th. This ends on the 31st. 40% off, and you could get in a better discount if you buy the bundles of 5, which means you could get 5 accounts for below $500. So pretty interesting opportunity. I myself am trading on some of those today, and I hope to be passing those today. So Tradeify, I already have 2 max days of 1.2K, so they're sitting at 52,386. I just need to get these up to 53,000, so I need another, $614, and I'll be able to pass those today. And as you can see, I am running a little bit of a strategy today, so I'm hoping that maybe this does or doesn't work. I was having issues with Claude, so we're going to see how this one pans out. But just so you guys know, this take profit account right here, this TPT, this one's going to be a fully automated system today. I'm just doing some live testing. In fact, I didn't even do any back testing with it. I didn't even do any playback testing with it. We're going to be literally ripping this one live. So that's this particular account. And that actually goes live right at 9:30. So if it wants to trade at open, which I don't think it will, it can actually trade at market open. So just if you hear any random order filled, just so you guys know, that is what's currently going on. And on that note,
Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun.
all right, Tonto. Let's see how this really brings us today. Let's see how this goes today. I've been doing a lot of analysis and back testing and studying lately, and even Claude is like, dude, this market is a freaking mess. Out of the gate, the SPY is doing the classic green to red test. It was sitting a bit green this morning, but we're testing that closing value. And if you look, the NASDAQ is actually already pushing the close of yesterday. We're sweeping out that low, which means my puts should be looking good. They're looking decent. looking decent. They're not as up as much as they were yesterday because vols calmed down a little bit, but more so it's theta is eating me alive. But I am up 60% on those, so we'll see how that plays out. Of course, I have this real-time data for you on options flow. I think it's a little too early to find use in it, but we'll see. We'll see. Just reloading it, getting you guys this real-time data. All right, here's how we look thus far. Thus far. Come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm just fixing all my other screens around here. I don't really feel a need to be chasing anything out of the gate. S&P 500, no like clear options direction, but the market is taking a hit. Mag 7 popped up a little bit, and NASDAQ, once again, it's messy. We don't need to really use this quite yet. How are we looking? Okay, it did go red. Let's get up some stocks that you guys are probably going to care about. Intel taking a huge hit. SanDisk, these memory stocks are getting destroyed. What do you got? Tesla. Tesla's almost at $300. It was just at $400. That's brutal. That's brutal. Folks, in chat, let me know what stocks are you guys all following today? Which ones you guys want me to put up on the screen? I'm pretty indifferent to it. I'm just kind of watching this overall market get destroyed. What do you guys think? What do you guys want? What do you want up on the screen? I see Tesla getting hit. Where's SpaceX? How much money is Elon losing today? Elon's losing a lot of money today. Elon's losing a lot of money today. Jesus. Should we start a GoFundMe for him so he can become a trillionaire again? Poor Elon. I am still swinging those puts that we spoke about yesterday, currently up 73%. And so I have a chunk here. I also have a chunk in a different account. I'm going to consider managing some of the position if I go up 100%. I'm in at $8. So if they start trading at $16, I might do some proper management. You saw me try to do that yesterday. It was just the profit target was never hit. So I'm just going to give this a second. I'm going to let the market open up. I'm going to let the market breathe. But just so you guys know, things are starting to look bearish. We see a waterfall in ES. 5-minute is potentially cracking. 10-minute is potentially cracking. 30-minute, a failed breakout. Looking at the NASDAQ, 1 minute is waterfall. 5 minutes cracking. 10 minutes cracking. 30-minute is not looking good. The overnight low, which I do have an alert set for it, is 27,839. Now, remember, for day trading, that's actually a good buy area, generally for like a quick little scalp. That doesn't mean that I'd be bullish on the rest of the day. Of course, it could turn out to be that. But just so you know, I'm not going to be taking this trade because I don't feel like doing anti-trend today. But a quick little scalp buy at 839.50, it is favored by the historic performance of the market. So I don't know if we're going to get there. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Maybe this will just be a complete waterfall. Maybe it'll be good for 5 or 10 points. But for those of you looking for mean reverting trades, buying at the overnight session low is statistically a good play if you have proper risk management. And remember, that trade is only true for the first test of the regular trading hours. It's not something that you would be doing like for the entire day. It's only true and only valid for the very first test of the day. So once again, the overnight low is 839.5. 839.5. Anyone having issues with trading pleb trade replicator? Never heard of it, but I think I was having issues with Ninja this morning. I was having issues with my Chrome this morning, and I was issues with Claude this morning. So I don't know if there's like a larger Cloudflare downage or something, but we were having issues in Discord as well. Like the voice got all messed up. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, is there a larger like data center issue or something going on right now? Kind of a pain in the butt. But anyway, I was having various technical issues this morning. I know other people in the Discord were, and it kind of started last night, seemed to be even worse this morning. I mean, I was trying to trade some of my systems overnight, and they all got absolutely destroyed because my data disconnected at some point. So that kind of sucked. But for anyone having tech issues, I'm kind of right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. I am seeing interesting. The S&P 500 is up and away out of the gate. It is call buying and put selling, trying to catch this bottom here. That is an interesting play. Will it hold? Mag 7 is not following suit. NASDAQ is not following suit. So the Mag 7 and the NASDAQ are telling us very different stories. But you can see here, something got turned on about 2.5 minutes into the day, 9:32:30, boom, Delta goes up. The question will be, can it hold? Are they just trying to do a retest of this closing value and we get rejected? I'm seeing the SPYs, maybe, but the NASDAQ is getting clearly hit. SpaceX, wow, poor Elon. Oh, Microsoft is up 2.2%. I thought I was in a Microsoft play. Did I get a fill? No, I did not. But I'm close. I think I'm close. No, I'm not that close. Still some distance to go, but I did sell Microsoft put credit spread, so that's making me a little bit of money. And I'm also still in those NASDAQ puts that I just, if you guys see this trading at 16 and I don't seem to be paying attention, can someone let me know? Because how do I, okay, you know what? I'll just put it in. So I have available contracts to close. What? Oh, do I already have a pending order? Oh, it's because I already have a pending order. Yeah, okay, cool. So 6 at 16. So I'm trying to dump half the position at a 100% gain, because then that means that the other half the position, the other 50% is a free ride. So yeah, all right, cool. I have 12. I'm in at $8. I'm trying to sell half of them at 16 because that means no matter what I do on the other chunk of them, it's just pure profit. Pure profit. Should I buy the dips? I don't think so. I think this is a poor time to buy the dips because you don't know what the earnings are going to be for Microsoft, Meta, Apple, ARM, Lam Research, Qualcomm. We don't know what the Fed's going to do tomorrow. You have Citadel Securities going on record saying, hey, we actually think it's going to be a surprise rate hike. Just based on the amount of unknowns, and if these unknowns go against you, we could see a sizable drop. So it's just from a risk reward perspective, the risk is not worth the potential reward, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you could do what you want. I'm not your mom, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I find that when things are a bit red, people start to act very irrationally. And I think, as always, it's just calm, cool, collected. I think that's the best thing to do. Just be calm, cool, collected. I don't have an order in on this. So close. Let's see if I can. Same thing. Those other puts just on a different brokerage right here. I have 25 additional QQQ puts. I have time. I have till August 4th. I got in at 8. They're trading at almost 15. So what I'm going to do is try to sell 12 at, once again, a 100% gain, because then I just don't have to worry about the other half. If it goes, it goes. If not, cool. All right, so just throwing in those orders. So once again, the logic is this. If you go up 100% and you sell half at a 100% gain, that means you covered your entire cost of premium, which means you then have a free ride. So we're getting kind of close. I'm hoping it gets filled. I'm about $1 away. And that would be pretty nice if I can actually, because then it takes away literally all of my risk. What's it trading at? Okay, I have about $1 to go. About $1 to go, which honestly, for how much this market's puking, I'm really surprised I didn't get a fill. Like, I thought the vol would have expanded enough. Where is VIX? I mean, we're almost, it's up 2.6. I guess that's not the biggest. I really thought I would have had a fill by now. I thought I would be beyond my fill. 680. I'm $8 in the money. So I know the Gamba's not going to be reacting as crazily, but I wonder if I just, do I want to take some just right here, just like arbitrarily lock some in? We just cracked the overnight low. I guess we're talking about 600. We're at 824. Oh, is the 100% gain too much? Well, there's a lot of time left today. Maybe I just sit back and wait to see. wait back to see how this will go. It could be reacting to the overnight low. Like I said, I'm not personally playing that today. There's just too much for me. There's too much negative gamma to the downside. If you are, the positive gamma is quickly disappearing. Just so you guys know, we're at 7,400. So if you want to know where the real test is, we're at it. Are we staying above or below 7,400? We kind of opened there. Wick. We just touched it. We're just kind of waiting to see. Do enough bulls want to step in here, or is there going to be enough bearish aggression that we crack 7,400? And then the potential next stop is the low 80s, which was the low from yesterday. The low from yesterday. So I see options flow is still going up. It is call buying, but is this a bull trap then? I see some put selling. So some of the bearish players are actually locking in, seemingly locking in their profits, if I had to guess. But it is interesting to me that the S&P 500 ever since 932 is trending to the upside. The Mag 7 choppy, NASDAQ slightly trending down. The 0 DTE is kind of flat. Patience. I mean, obviously the bears are in control. 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, all bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute cracking as we speak. Looking at the NASDAQ, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bearish. 1 minute and 30 minute are very bearish. 5 minute got cracked at open. 10 minute is cracking as we speak. Wow. And it looks like the issue is here. We might not be holding 7,400. Like I said, the next target is 85. Right here, 85. And then we have, what's my next target past 85? 60. So it's an if-then statement. It's a conditional statement. If we break and hold below 7,400, bear target number 1 is the low 80s. Bear target number 2 is 360. And then from there, 330. And it does look like it's getting a bit smoked. Did I hit my profit target? No. Dude, what is going on? We're getting really close. 15. Remember, my profit target's at $16. I'm in at 8. I'm just trying to get 100% gain. We're up a decent amount of money. We're up about 19.5 thousand. Come on, lock it in. Lock it in, brother. Lock it in. 10 cents. America is good. All right, just locked it in. So I had 25 and now I'm down to 13. So no matter what, I cannot lose money on this play. And then obviously I also locked in over here on these ones as well. So not a bad day. Not a bad day. So I made about 5K there and I made about 10K there. So I locked in about 15. I locked in the cost of my premium. So like I said, the rest of it, this is a free game. The worst I am is break even on this trade. The best is literally whatever the profit is, that's my net profit on this. Whatever I'm able to lock in on these, whatever I'm able to lock in on these, this is my pure profit. I cannot lose on this trade because I sold half my position at a 100% gain. Love being in this. Finally, it's been June, July have been pretty rough, but as we're getting to the end of July here, it's nice to actually do something smart. It's nice to finally do something smart. I have to admit, I feel like I've been doing a lot of dumb stuff lately. And look at that, locked some in right at the bottom. Nice. I needed this, folks. I needed this one. Oh, that's a nice one. Can't lose. He's going to pay for his futures accounts. Yeah, finally, I can make some money to pay for these damn futures accounts. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh, that's a nice pop in this account value. That's a nice pop in this account value. We're trending the right way, team. I'm stoked. Matt, should I go all in on Monster Energy? Better question is, how are you not already all in on Monster Energy? You still need to lock in profits. Well, yeah, I just made the worst case. Like, if all of a sudden all the best news ever breaks and the market has a monster rally, literally the worst thing that could happen for me is break even. But I'm deeply in the money. My puts were 680. And this was kind of like a Discord specific play from last week. I'm in the money. I'm just gaining intrinsic value now. Your boy's just gaining intrinsic value. And I have all the way till August 4th. So how many more days do I have? About a week. I have 1 week. So I'll probably manage these this week. I don't really need to carry these into August. My expiration is literally a week from today. It is next Tuesday. So I'm going to ride it as far as I can. Obviously, I'm looking at some of these key levels. $660 I care about, I guess. I'm just $660. Right. Wow, dude, this is going. So I'm seeing some choppiness in between 600 and really the lower 27,000s. Quite a bit of choppiness. Um, Quite a bit of choppiness, and this is going. You know what? Should we just do some reach orders? Maybe sell 5 of these at, I don't know, $18. Maybe just do a classic scale out type of a situation. How many do I have? I have 6. So let's see if we could sell 3 of these at 18. Just keeping some, scaling out as vol's expanding. You never know when dip buyers might decide to step in. So I'm happy meeting myself in the middle. It guarantees some money. And then if it keeps going, I still have a little bit, but honestly, it's a good problem to have. If something keeps going so much in your favor that you run out of things to scale out of, that means you've locked in quite a bit of profit on the way. So remember, you're never going to be able to top take, bottom take anything. If that's your goal, whatever. But for me, I scaled out, protected myself. If it keeps going, I'll scale out more, and I'll just keep scaling out until I run out of contracts to scale out of. Like, I'm more than, that's a good problem to have. That's a champagne problem when you're like, I just don't have anything more to like lock in here. So, locked in at 100%. I have an order pending at another buck higher and to dump some. And then if that fills, I'm running out of contracts, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Any thoughts on Bloom Energy? Bloom Energy is only being discussed because of that kid running the hedge fund who has a very impressive return, and everyone's just calling out how he's made like all the best AI trades. Before that, no one was talking about Bloom Energy whatsoever, but it's going to move effectively in lockstep with the rest of this AI trade right now. So I don't expect, like I said, it's going to be live by the sword, die by the sword. If the AI trade is alive and well, Bloom Energy is going to do well. If we continue to see pressure and stress on the AI trade, well, I expect Bloom Energy to not perform so well. But it's already moved so much. I be careful chasing it. You have to be really careful. It's one thing if you're a trend following trader and you're like, Matt, I know I can't chase, but I also like it has to be up because I'm a trend following trader. Yeah, that's a big difference than something already running like multiple 100%. It's one thing when something is green and you're trying to get in on the early green move versus like clearly Micron, SanDisk, Bloom Energy, NBIS, they already move so much that like it's chasing. So you have to be careful with those types of situations. Be really, really careful. Bloom Energy, it has earnings today. I want to say, I know its earnings are this week, but I don't know. I just, it doesn't trade that much. It doesn't get that much chatter. So it might be a great play. Honestly, it might be. I just don't know the most about it because it's not a major watch on my watch list. And I just don't hear enough people talking about it to make it interesting to me. Generally, I cover the things that I see you guys talking about the most, and you're probably the first person ever to ask about Bloom Energy, to be completely honest. So I know a little bit about it just because of how much it's up, and people were looking, that Archibald kid, whatever the hell his name is, people were looking at like his holdings, and he crushed it on that play. So it got a little bit of notoriety, obviously, but I don't know. At a certain point, you can't be trading everything. All right. V-shaped bounce off my first target. Right back to 400. Did I not call this out exactly? Did I not specifically tell you this was it? Not only did we have the structural low from yesterday, but we also had a gamma level that I said, hey, that would be your bear target number 1. I locked in some of my money there. Look at that. Buyers stepped in. Sellers got weak. We pumped right back up to the next level. How many times do you guys have to see this time and time again? How many times do we have to see the market perfectly reacting to these levels that we're laying out because we're looking at the big player positioning? I mean, folks, this was called out before the market even opened today. It was called out in the Discord literally hours ago. It you just If you don't know where the big money is positioned and you're an active trader, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. Because all of a sudden, if you just didn't mark out the previous lows or the gamma levels, this would look like a random bounce. You're like, okay, like what happened at 80 here? Why did it go? But in reality, when you overlap it with the positioning of big players, you start to say, oh, wow, okay, that's exactly why. We had a bit of positive gamma. People reacted to the structural low from yesterday. So, okay, maybe bears locked in a bit of profit. Then if you want to confirm that, okay, right there, look at that. Puts going up and up and up. Remember, puts being bought, it means the blue lines go down. When the blue lines go up, puts are being sold. So that tells me that, yeah, some of the bears, this wasn't necessarily bull stepping in. This was bears locking in profit, right? Like we can see that. Now, does that mean that there's not going to be more bears or less bears? We don't know what the next one is. I can only comment on exactly what that dip was, but you could see they started to front run that dip a couple minutes early. The put delta started to go up, which you get from put selling. Now, you could argue, Matt, if it's put selling, they might be selling to open, selling to close. And that is right. That is definitely technically true. And we won't know until the end of the day and when we see the difference in open interest. But for right now, just knowing what the positioning was, I think we could safely assume that this was people locking in their profits rather than just trying to put a bottom on this whole thing. So I think it's a safe assumption. It doesn't really matter because it's selling to open, selling to close has the same impact on delta. I would say it has a slight nuance difference in maybe the aggression of like, okay, like what are they doing? But to me, I would say this is perfect. Bears locking in their profit at a key level, key gamma level, probably just directly going in the money. We had this structural low, and guess what? It runs back up to this next level. And if it starts to crack this, look out below. We have some serious ranges today. We're at 700. Golly. Oh, it's getting cracked. Tesla's getting cracked too, Sandus. Yeah. So that was our fight to go up, and it failed. Did anyone take this short right here? This failed pop? Hands up in chat if you took that short. I'm just curious. Obviously, I did not take it. The bot is on, but it didn't bounce big enough for the bot to take the short trade. And in terms of my manual trades, I didn't want to do it because it's 9:53 and we have consumer sentiment coming out at 10 a.m. So I just wanted to wait. But how many of you took this short trade right here of this failed pop short trade? You could have either gone short at 9:51 or short at 9:53. Just out of my own jealousy, I'm curious how many of you took it. Well, we have some people who did it. Congrats. That's a good trade. SPY's still going. We have, be careful, negative gamma both above and below. So this is the kind of setup that when we get going, we can like really get going. Definitely the kind of setup where this can get moving. Took Tom DeLong. You went long on that? That's kind of a degenerate play. You're fighting all of momentum. 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute is all bearish. 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute is all bearish. And hey, I understand this concept of mean reversion, but if you're going long at 400, you're basically saying it has to break out. A better long would have been at support. You don't want to go long at resistance. You want to go long at support. Same thing with going short. You don't want to go short at support. You want to go short at resistance. It's just a way to minimize your risk. Obviously, we don't know which one will or won't be the good breaks or the fake outs or anything like that. That's just like an unknown part of this math problem. But what we do know is if you're wrong, it's the way you minimize your risk. Get funded with Tradeify, 40% off with code Goonie. That does end. Shorting this so bad form 900 to 500. Let's see. Shorting this, I think you're saying out of boredom. I don't think it's out of boredom. You're shorting a failed pop. You're shorting a lower high. I don't mind that. it's a problem to kind of chase it. Maybe you could have gone short at 942. This pop that failed, but it was very quick. This one's a little bit more evident, and we are just cracking 700. So I don't mind that. I don't mind the short at 51. You had a lot to withstand because that's quite the distance. But once again, if you catch it and you have the buffer to withstand it, I mean, these are some serious drops. We were at one point today at 28,000. We're now at 27,640. Like, we dropped 330 points like it was nothing, and we're not even a half hour into the day. Short, bad fill. Well, if you feel like you got a bad fill, just throw your stop in at break even. Just take all your risk off the table. Like, if you're not like so stoked about it, like maybe you still get lucky and it capitulates in your favor. But if you're like not so stoked about how you played it, it's going to be no sweat off your back to put the stop in at break even. The only time that's going to hurt you is if you have unrealized drawdown to contest with, but you still have to do your stop, because what's worse than unrealized drawdown is it actually going negative, and then you have like legit drawdown on top of the unrealized drawdown. So you still have to play it pretty conservatively, at least when you're building it out. All right, a little bit of a higher low here on the SPY, potential double bottom situation on the Qs. SPY is still climbing up, but that put selling has kind of stopped. So, and I'm seeing the calls flatten out. So right now the SPY's gone flat. Let's pay attention to that. Mag 7 did pop, gave it all back. And then the NASDAQ kind of just going flat. Small cap, Russell down, actually just got a flow alert. On Bookmap right here, I'm not seeing anything too crazy at the moment. There's buyers at 640 and there's buyers at 600 flat. So maybe something to pay attention to as we're trading at 700. I see pending orders at 640. I see pending orders at 600. We could circle back to that to see if they're actually like getting filled or not. Maybe they pull their orders. Maybe they don't. I don't know. That's up to them if they want to keep their orders. But once again, 27,640, 27,600. If you happen to be short, maybe that's something to pay attention to. So 640 is a slight overshoot of the intraday low, and then 600 is just the round $100 value. So that's where I see it. Some players are coming in at 650, not the most. If I see any big change there, obviously I will let you know. We have negative gamma all the way down to 370. I had 360, so this must have shifted a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's a baby node. It really is. There's another one here at 60. We could probably cut it in half and call it 65. Okay, let me quickly update this. 65 is probably more realistic based on the current trades. If that doesn't hold, you could see in the bottom right of your screen, the next potential stop is 325, 330. That's the start of this little positive node right there. So if it drops, this can get kind of brutal today. It definitely can. Where's VIX? VIX not climbing as much as I thought it would. Micron taking a hit. SanDisk, wow. SanDisk is down 14%. Micron's down 10%. Double-digit sell-off. Double-digit sell-off in memory plays. That is brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. The shorts have to cover. AMC to the moon. You're not wrong. They're going to cover one of these days. No one really quite knows the century that they're going to cover, but they are eventually going to cover. Do you prefer S&P 500, SP equities on Trace? No, use the full combined signal because that gives you an idea of what's going on in all the S&P 500. Don't just use the ETF. That would be silly. You're intentionally missing a piece of the puzzle at that point. You don't want to do that. When you do it, do the combined signal because that tells you everything going on. To just use the equities one, that like SPY, I believe that's what you're talking about. If you're just doing that, you're like literally intentionally saying, I want less information. The more information I would argue, the better in that particular circumstance. 500K per share floor. Remember those times? Yeah. And they're not wrong, folks. Before you know it, Before you know it, 500K per share. Holy shit, people saw on that AMC garbage. They are in here. They're just trolling. They're just kind of making fun. But if you look on Twitter, there's people who still like legitimately think that that's going to happen. There's no combined signal on Trace. Yes, there is. If you're using the SPY, the S&P 500, it's the combined one on Trace. On Hero, you can split it up, but it is all information related to the S&P 500. But remember, most of it's going to be SPX. SPX is the most traded, the most liquid, the most deep product. So most of the picture is coming from the S&P 500, the actual index, SPX, which is a lot more traded than XSP. It's SPY is traded a lot, but once again, SPX is still much more traded. Same thing with ES. Like, they're popular. I'm not saying they're not, but SPX is the deepest product. So it looks like consumer confidence was a miss. Is our boy Rick on?
When you look at
with Carl Quintanilla and David Faber at the New York Stock Exchange. We've got a big lineup for you here in Atlanta this morning, including an exclusive interview with Coke CEO Enrique Braun, his first since taking the job. After posting strong earnings and raising the full-year outlook, the stock is soaring.
Shout
Plus,
out,
we'll
JP.
be joined by the CEOs of Southern Company, Pulte Group, and the Atlanta Falcons. Also ahead this hour, UPS CEO Carol Tomei
All right,
joins us
hurry
first on
this up.
CNBC.
We
and
want
that
to hear
stock
Rick.
turns lower despite a beat and raise
Carol.
quarter. It's
Carol.
Performer, Carl.
Carol.
Sarah, let's get some conference board first with
Spies
Rick Santelli.
popping.
Hey, Rick.
Mag
Good
7.
morning, Carl. Yes, these are July reads on consumer confidence
NASDAQ.
from the conference board. Headline number expected to be slightly above 92. Comes in on the light side, 90.8. 90.8. That would be the lightest, well, just since May when we were at 90.6. And last month, upgraded from 91.2 to 92.2. When you take that in consideration, the number isn't as weak as expected when you look at it over 2 months. If you look at present situation, expecting 117.5, also light, 114.9. 114.9 follows an upward revision, significant from 116.4 to 118.5. And finally, what may lie ahead, expectations, 74.4 expected, pretty close, a little better,
Lots of put selling.
74.7. That would actually be the strongest, equal where we were in August of last year. To find a higher number, you're going back to July of last year, exactly 1 year. Now, let's look at the manufacturing side of the equation from Richmond Fed. We're expecting a July read of 6, comes in at 5. 5 would be the best level, really going back to April. And finally, if we look at the business conditions side, or the service sector, comes in weaker than expected, not good, -5. -5 follows a reading of -9, hasn't been positive going all the way back to March when it was +2. So we see weakness there. Interest rates continue to move lower after hitting the high water marks last week. Right now we're hovering at 4.61% on a 10-year. That's down 4 basis points. 1 o'clock Eastern, the last of Treasury supply comes in with the 7-year at $44 billion. Carl, back to you.
Good stuff. Busy couple days ahead. We'll talk soon. Rick Santelli. Let's turn to the broader market as the NASDAQ now lags in early trading. The chip names getting hit hard once again. Joining us this morning at Post 9,
Bloodbath.
JP Morgan Wealth Management Chief Investment Strategist Phil Campiarelli's with us. Phil, great to have you back. Thanks
Phil.
for joining us. You think this whole sort of reset is normalization rather than an alarm bell, so to speak?
Yeah, I think this has more to do with the 493 than the 7 in a way. And then just kind of to zoom out a little bit, if you were lucky enough to invest in this semi-trade in the beginning of last year, for example, it's performed triple the S&P. Year to date, triple the S&P. So when things like that happen, they become a little bit vulnerable.
He seems like such a New York Wall Street bro.
And one of the good things about the summer that I always like to remember is a lot of crazy things happen in the summer based on liquidity that don't necessarily play out for the rest of the year. But going back to the
Kind of the
493, I think
core
there's
1M
buy-in from
argument.
investors that non-tech sectors can be profitable and increasing profitability. Those are sectors like financials. Those are sectors like industrials. But make no mistake about it, Carl, like we still believe we're in the early stages.
Lot of sellers
what
at
is
800.
a generational trade. We write about the AI trade over the next 3 to 5 years. We write about the AI trade over the next 10 to 15 years.
800
the positive
and
impact
still
on
640.
productivity.
So we're paying
But in
160
kind of like a
point
high-class
range.
problem, the rest of the sectors are catching up in profitability, which over the past couple of years, everybody has kind of wanted. So that premium that the
Yeah,
Mag 7
we're
has to
running
the
into some
493
liquidity
is
here.
the lowest in a decade now. It was a 30% premium. Now it's a 10% premium. And I think it has more to do with the 493 than the 7.
We mentioned earlier healthcare and financials today,
Yeah.
all-time high, the XLV and the XLF. So do you go with that, or do you wait for tech to get cheap enough and to reset on that?
Yeah, so we
All right, this guy's boring me. All right, let's get out of that. Here's the heat map thus far for the day. Overall, the S&P 500 is trying to fight. The issue is tech. You can see it's just a pocket of red while everything else is pretty decently green. Healthcare is doing well, consumer defensive, energy, industrials, like it's all doing decent except for tech. And that's exactly why the Qs are quite a bit weaker, Are we holding the 50 EMA? We're right at the 50 EMA. We're right at 400. Okay, so we're just at this key area. This is the decision point. And I know a lot of you, and this is probably like a knee-jerk reaction of just like, okay, like Matt or anyone out there, can we get a profit that tells us, do we hold this or do we not? That is not the right question. And I mean, I feel like it's almost become like my job in my little corner of the internet here to remind you folks, no one can predict this. This is a game of reaction. If you are an active trader, your job is not predictor. You are not trying to predict, will we break and go above 400? Will we break down? Is this a fake out? That is not your job. As an active trader, your job is to react. You wait for the developments and you say, is this good risk reward? Let's see if the die, let's just throw the die on the table and see how it plays out. That is your job. If you want to try to be predicting and looking at trends, that has no point in active trading, especially active day trading. That's a lot more. There is a place for the market in it. It happens to be called investing. And that's when you do fundamental predictions to see if gambling or EVs or if AI is more or less popular 10 years from now than it is at this moment in time. So there is a game for prediction. It just happens to not be active trading, especially not active day trading. So I don't hear enough educators or people with a following making that nuanced difference, but it is incredibly important. Right here, it pops up. Should you take it? Shouldn't it? Well, if you wanted to, you're long, you're using your risk. I don't like it because it's trending down. So maybe you take this breakdown at 98 and you're just risking 405 and you see how far maybe it can or it can't go. Do not predict. It's a game of react to the developments, react to whatever your system is telling you to do, to not do, and you just play it accordingly. That is the best way to behave in this game. Can we listen to Carol? I'm a UPS driver. When is she on? She had a vibe for sure. She's not on quite yet. So I guess we could circle back to this to see here. I'll throw this on my screen over here and I'll let you know if I see Carol coming. I'll let you know if Carol comes on. Okay, negative gamma. So there's negative gamma, the height of 450. Kind of down to 7335 on SPX. So 7335 is the bottom. There's a little bit of a positive gamma node at 6.5. It's also spot gammas in one day move low. So we're dealing with a decent range. It could pop, it could drop. I think it comes a lot to, do we hold or not hold 400? If we don't hold, you're looking for the snap of the intraday low and then looking for that push to 65. That would be the bearish scenario. The bullish scenario would be we get a third higher low. It starts to push. It takes out 405, retest 400. We hold that, and then we push 413, and then from there, 425. That would be your bullish target. Right now, I think it's more likely that the bearish target plays out because the 1 minute's failing, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, it's all bearish. 1 minute never even tested, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes, all bearish. So just based on pure momentum, I think that the bears are in more control. And what's going to happen here is the market's barely popping. Hang on, why can I not scroll up? And yet the S&P 500 is getting a good delta pop. If this delta turns, look out below because this we're removing a ton of negative delta. We're adding positive delta. The delta is ripping higher and higher, and yet the market cannot find a bid. That tells you something is up. So if this were to turn, that's not good. The Mag 7, it is legitimately trending down. The NASDAQ it was down. Now it's kind of going sideways. So the fact that this market cannot hold 400 and yet the option trades are doing everything in their power to get this go, that tells you either something about liquidity or something about the generic bullish versus bearishness and the aggressor. But right now, the NASDAQ is just getting clocked. I'm looking at it over here. The trade at 27,800 is still there, a good 80 points above where we are. And then 640 as well. There is a trade here, which happens to be the intraday low. So in terms of that heat map, I see something at 600, 640, and 800. Those are where the big players are currently positioned on NQ, 27,800, 27,640, and then 600 flat. About 100 contracts to be traded at all of those levels, while all the other levels are like 4 or 5 contracts just kind of like waiting. Carol is not on yet, but Coca-Cola is trading at record highs. So I guess a lot of you are buying your Diet Coke these days. Coca-Cola trading at record highs.
Taking the post back in March. Thank you for having us, first of all.
Thank you for being here, sir.
It's great to finally hear from you.
1 minute
you're a
pushing
Coke lifer. You've been
on
here
ES.
since 30
We have
years.
distance to go
started
on
as an
NQ.
intern,
Yeah.
which makes you actually the third CEO I've interviewed who started as an intern.
Yeah.
How does Coke look different under your leadership?
Yeah, well, first of all, yes, and it's a lifetime experience. I started right here in Atlanta, and I traveled the world in 4 different continents. It's been a great opportunity. Look, on my leadership,
Enrique
it's a lot
Barad.
about continuity. We have been doing a lot of things right, and we're going to continue to do that, which is about building billion-dollar brands in the way that we have been doing. Continue to leverage our system, our bottlers, and us working hand in hand together. We are in unprecedented alignment times, and we're going to continue to nurture that. And what's going to be different is, or we're going to dial up a little bit, it's more consumer-centric than ever. And to that extent, that means innovation, getting the 4 I's that I like to call it, which is getting insights, innovation, intimacy, leveraging scale, but intimacy of the different markets, and integration in a way that we're going to get more from our markets and more from our categories. Exactly what we have seen this quarter in the first
All right,
half of the
I
year.
took that
This
trade.
quarter, look, this stock hasn't seen a move like this since back in 2020.
Locked in
worked on
400.
volumes, not just price, which is a change. It seems like all geographies grew. A lot of the product
Not a
grew.
bad
So
trade.
What do you attribute the growth to that you're
Literally,
seeing right now?
the trade was
really
basic.
comes with
I
the
took the run to
consistency of
400, but I put
working
my
in
profit
tandem
target
with
right
our
before it,
bottlers
just in
all over
case
the
it bounced.
world,
And look at
trying to
that,
do a
it
little bit
bounced.
better every
But I
day
think
on
this
the
might be
execution
cracking it.
of our strategies. And
If 40
came out
doesn't
in this
hold, you're
quarter
looking at
having
600
More
flat.
from our markets, more from our categories.
All right.
And
Enrique is confusing me. Pretty easy play. I saw the pop. I went short. I was front running this because I thought there could be a bounce. That was a good call because we did bounce about 45 points. But now we're testing it, and look out because we're going to go right to 600. This is called Bookmap. If you want it, you could get the best deal. It's in the description of the video, as is all of the tools and the software I use. This is NinjaTrader. This is Spot Gamma. This is Spot Gamma. And the thing I just had up is called Bookmap. So Bookmap, it's just a nice visualization of the DOM, the depth of market. It's all the sitting buy and sell orders. Spot Gamma is for options flow. NinjaTrader is the platform where I trade. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. And actually, speaking of that, did this ever get filled? No, it did not. I already sold half. I'm trying to sell more at 18, so that'd be awesome if this could hit. I'm trying to sell a bit more, but I need this flush to get a bit more aggressive. So I did take that one trade. I was in and out. I used the Spot Gamma, or actually no, combination of Spot Gamma and of Bookmap to make that. So I made 400 per account, not bad. And actually, I'm about $220, $221 away from passing my 5 Tradeifys. Speaking of which, if you guys are using Tradeify and you want to support me, don't forget to use that code Goonie. You'll get 40% off and an even better discount if you buy the bundles of 5. So you could get 5 accounts for less than 100 each. So pretty nice. But once again, code Goonie, Goonie on Tradeify. This deal does end at the end of this week, aka the end of this month. And the bot system has not traded yet. It got really close to it, just no cigar. Really close to it, just no cigar. So far, I can't technically say I'm one-on-one for the day because my bot system did trade overnight and I lost a lot because my data got disconnected and the position stayed open. So, but in terms of the regular trading hour with all of you guys, so far 1 for 1, I'll take it. So far 1 for 1. Wow, this is there's so much pressure here. I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to lock in at 18. I'm trying to dump 8 more contracts. So I had 25 plus 12. So I had 37. I sold half of that. I sold 18 of them at 100% gain. And I'm trying to dump another 8 of my initial value of 37. I'm trying to dump another 8 of these across 2 accounts at 18 flat, just to continue to scale out as this is going in my favor. Brother. I have an idea. Would this work? Hang on. I have an idea. Let me try something. Let me know if you guys like this setup. Hang on one quick second. Hold tight. Everyone hold. If you have a horse, please hold it. If you have a horse, please hold it. If you have a horse, do you guys like this being up there? Do you find, I don't know, is that useful? Do you guys like it? I mean, I could try to resize it a little bit, but I know a lot of you like me are degenerately trading NQ. Is it useful in real time to put this thing right above my head? Is that more useful than the chat itself? I mean, of course, we could switch back and forth. I could always like quickly hide it, see what's going on with chat. I could always come back to this. But can I get a quick thumbs up, thumbs down? Do you guys like the book map being right above my head? I need a thumbs up, I know it's a crazy idea. I know you guys call me Matt, Mr. Crazy Idea, but yes, maybe no, maybe so, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe so. Oh, I feel like I'm talking into a void. None of you guys want to talk to me anymore. None of you guys are my real friends. I'm starting to think you guys aren't even my real friends. Oh, there's some yeses. All right, cool. Finally, my real friends are here. Book map better than chat. Man, that's aggressive to chat. That's aggressive to chat there, man. Fuck chat. It's good. You're good. Rapolo, you're good. I'm just waiting for my opportunities. I felt like I was like kind of over trading a little bit yesterday, so I'm trying to be a little bit more specific about my trades today. But honestly, even if I have to end it now, I made 400 per account, so that's a good gain on the day. And then obviously I locked in quite a bit trading options as well. So I wanted a bigger pop to go short into. It just like wasn't. So I had to chase a little bit of a breakdown trade, which it did go my way, which is sick. But what do we have going on here? I see that player still at 600. I see the player at 600. Oh, brother. I'm a little confused about what's going on because the SPY is still ripping. Once again, this is spot gamma. This is spot gamma. The thing above my head is called Bookmap. You could get fat discounts on both in the description of the video. Just use that link. Calls are popping. Calls are being bought. Puts are being sold. And yet the market is not holding 400. Something is up. Something is up. We're running into some sellers here at 44. We just ran into a block of sellers and we're flushing down to 600. Interesting. Interesante, mi amigo. Interesante. Interesante. For those of you who aren't as bilingual as I am, that means interesting. Just to clarify, I know that not everyone had the same multi-language education I did growing up in rural PA from the whitest lady ever trying to teach me Spanish, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of Spanish speakers in the audience who are like, Matt, your accent, your dialect, it's perfect. Where did you study abroad in Spain? Did you live in Mexico? No. I had the most pasty white farmer lady teacher ever teach me back in 9th and 10th grade. So that's where the accent's from, folks. That's interesting and forward for the uneducated. Oh, golly. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? All right. Well, we ripped through that player at 45 momentarily. Uno momento, por favor. Hola, clase. Abran los libros en la página 204. That's how she started every single fucking class. Hola, clase. Abran los libros en la página. Which is just hello, class. Open your books to page, whatever. Like, that's honestly, just because she said that every single day, I think that's the only thing I can still remember from Spanish. Hola, clase. Abran los libros en la página 204. So if you need a guy to translate the start of a Spanish class, I'm your guy. But I cannot do any other translations beyond that. I just need 9th, 10th grade, year 1, year 2 level of Spanish, and I am your guy. Do I know how to say random, dumb fucking phrases that have nothing to do with surviving in a Spanish-speaking country? You're absolutely right. Not too bad. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I could fucking open my Spanish book to whatever page you need me to open it to. And then from there, I get lost. My 1996 Spanish teacher started the same way. They probably never updated it. Whatever college classes they all had to fucking take, it was probably the same bullshit one. Well, that's a little bit of a Papa-rooney. That's a little bit of a Papa-rooney. All right. Is this the opportunity we've all been waiting for? That's the real question, folks. I think my bot system should be trading somewhat soon. This one. If it keeps popping, it should go short. At least that's what I'm pretty sure I had Claude code it to do for me. But we'll see. Hola, clase. Hola, class. That's how I'm going to start my streams. Hola, streamo. The SPY delta is, look at call buying, put selling. This delta is ripping, and yet price cannot recapture 400. Not the best sign there, team. Not the best sign. Not the best sign at all. SPY's a little stronger. It's testing that 50 EMA. What do we just bounce off of? 60. I'm not really seeing the most interesting things on Bookmap. Let's zoom out. Yeah, there's no... That order sitting down here at 600. Maybe later on in the day, that's going to act as some form of a magnet. But let's see. Hola, clase. Negative gamma above and below. SPY delta is ripping like no other. Price is not following suit. Mag 7's going the complete opposite way. And Nasdaq is pretty flat, while the Russell is also going down. Huge consolidation, pretty much starting at 945. Sell-off going flat. Same thing in the Q. Sell-off going flat, except the SPY is more perfectly sideways, while the Qs are still kind of drifting down. We did make fresh lows on the Qs that we did not make on the SPY. Interesting. What is this? Sellers at 700. Will that player hold? Yes, no, maybe so. All right, we just tagged that player above me at 700 flat. Is this going to then set up the drop to 600? Oh, there's people up here at 800. So they're just playing the $100 rung. 600, 700, 800. Someone moved up to 705. 705. Interesting. 25. Hola, clase. Let's get some tunes going. I need to get one more good trade in so I can pass those Tradeify accounts and then upgrade them live with all of you. All right, let's listen to some tendies and tunes. Gamma Burn, I Can't Look Away. Less Than Matt, Crying in the Shower. Oh, that's probably a good one. Less Than Matt, Crying in the Shower. Perfect. Perfecto. Dude, this delta is pushing like no other, and SPX can still not get above 400. Wow. Look at that. It's just ripping. Mag 7, completely opposite. Nasdaq flat. Memory stocks are getting destroyed. I'm gonna be crying in the shower if this next trade doesn't work. Oh, what's the right move here? Flow is flattening out on the SPY. What is the play? Is there no play? This song is ridiculous. Back in the green on the Palantir push. Yeah, baby. Palantir's getting smoked. Oh, wow. Palantir's down almost 10%. Just crying in the shower, folks. How we do it. How we do it.
Back in 21, I thought I cracked the code. Bought every tip they sold, leveraged every road. Drew 1,000 lines and called it destiny. Now my broker says condolence, letter straight to me. Every candle's got a personal vendetta.
I'm trying to see if I could place one trade here. I'm thinking this might be an interesting setup for me. Let's see. I'm thinking, which is a dangerous game for me to be thinking. We're right at 400. Is this going to hold or not? Decision time. Depending on how the next couple minutes play out, my bot actually might take this trade. Let's see. Is this bot going to trade? If it starts to break down, it should take a 2 contract short. Is it on? It is on. All right, let's see if the setup happens. And this is just specific to this take profit account. Let's see.
Order filled.
Nope. My manual trade got executed, but not the bot. Why did this not trade? That could be a problem. Okay, what this was a trade I just had in. This was not a bot one. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it go. We'll see. Why did the bot? I need to check I'll check the output post stream to see what's going on, but it should have taken the similar trade. It should have taken the exact same trade.
Order filled. Order filled.
That's a bummer. I think these at one point did have enough, but then because of the break even, it gave back the $132 it needed. So locked in 1. Why did this not fire? BVT. Why in the world did that not fire? Huh. Yeah, I have an idea of maybe what broke in it, but I'll have to check the output later. First time viewer here. What is your goal every day? A certain amount of money? No, not at all. You never know what the day is going to bring you. No, like trading days aren't always the same. Sometimes you have big moves. Sometimes you have little moves, bullish, bearish, vol expansion, contraction, morning sessions, afternoon. So to hold yourself, it's one thing if you want to set guardrails of like, hey, regardless of how good the day is, I don't go beyond this. Regardless of how bad the day is, I don't go below that. But if you're like, no, I need to make X amount every single day, you're going to be sad because there's just different dynamics every single day. Different dynamics every day. So you just have to kind of take what the market gives you. All right, let's find a song. What is this one? Let's margin call Meltdown. This is a good one. Why did this not run? Why did this not run?
Open straight to hell, lavish high, nerves are fried, but I'm in too deep to bail. Charge of bleeding, red tsunami, bought the dip, hello tsunami, one more.
But it is showing trades yesterday, so it's not like it's completely.
Now the broker's knocking saying pay your debt. I was down with him, but my hands got wrecked, and my P&L looks like a fucking mess. I was one bad trade from a margin call Meltdown. Lost it all fast, now I'm spiraling down, down, down. One done bad, now I'm out of the game. But I'll be back.
I'm unsure. It's enabled. It should be doing its thing. Do you stay long overnight or get out by the end of every trading day? You stay long overnight. Well, that's assuming I'm long, which I don't have a long position on. It depends what's going on. Once again, what's the setup? Like arbitrarily staying long every night is probably not going to work for you, but what's the setup? What's the system? There's probably some times, like I could definitely conceive a system in which some nights it's reasonable to stay long overnight. Other ones it's not going to be. All right, are we going to hold 400? Tesla is getting destroyed. Actually, the market just took a turn too. Point of control, this yellow line POC, that's where the most volume's been traded, is at 700. So there's an appetite to trade there, which is roughly aligning with 400. A little retest isn't going to pop, or is this going to just, is this the, someone's getting trapped here. Either these bulls just got trapped or these bears are getting trapped as we speak. Is it just the retest on the bounce, or is this first a trap and they're about to dump it? What is this one? This one is a gamma burn. I can't look away. And that's happening as the NASDAQ pop gave some back. The NASDAQ is just, excuse me, the MAG 7 is just getting hit. Pretty bad if we break 695. Potential turnaround, taking out 63 and then 93. We ran up, rejected, try to break, higher low, will it get going? This is actually very similar to yesterday. Actually scary to how similar yesterday the setup is. Yesterday it ended up failing this particular push, but we'll see if that's true this time around. Here's a look at flow. SPY is continuing. We are trying to hold 400. That was the higher low. You're then watching 415 followed by 425. What's good, Canada? All right, we do have those sellers still at 800, as you can see on the book map. Wow, dude, Tesla, what a fall from grace. AMD is getting annihilated today. There's a lot of blood in the water today. I mean, they're attempting to defend 400 as much as they can. Just makes you wonder how much they could actually do it. Makes you wonder how much they could actually do it. If we take out this shelf, 394. If we take out this shelf, 670-ish. I'm looking for a return down to the intraday low. Spies. It's pushing a little. Okay, we are getting up to the 50% of today's range. That's the two red dash lines are the extremes of the day based on 9:30 market open to 10:30 effectively. So you have the intraday high, intraday low of regular trading session, and then the blue line is the 50% mark of that. A lot of people like to use the 50% as like just some place to base their trade off of. The question is, are we getting this full recovery today, or is it going to be a triple top? It's in the realm of 800. We wicked it. We're coming up for the third one. We do have, ever since 1020, we do have a succession of higher highs and higher lows. And the S&P 500 Delta is still cruising. There's a lot of sellers there, though, at 800, but the S&P 500 Delta is up, and away. Mag 7 is just down. NASDAQ was kind of flat. It was tilted down. Now it's kind of tilted up a little bit. So NASDAQ's not saying anything. Mag 7 saying bearish. S&P 500 saying bullish. Shorter time frames, 1 minute is bullish, 5 minutes pushing, 10 minutes pushing, 30 minute is bearish. NASDAQ, 1 minute is bullish, 5 and 10 are kind of going up, still bearish, 30 minutes bearish. Like, all of a sudden, it became really, really messy. And then you just had this big seller at 800, which is literally a potential triple wick here. A triple top right at 800. Wild. Wild. Wow. I pretty much starting at 945, this S&P 500. The Delta has not looked back. It's a gigantic put selling, call buying like no other, but then yet prices barely hanging above 400. There's something weird today. Something strange is going on underneath. If we look in the hood of things, negative gamma node, up to 430 negative gamma node at 390. So we're in a patch of negative gamma with evident nodes being 30, 35, and then 390. All right, things are starting to turn a little. Are we just retesting 400? Are we going for this 800 test? What are these big players doing today? Feels like we're trying to reason with an insane person right now. Like a legit crazy person. Your hypothesis for weirdness under the hood? Oh, just trades being made. Music. We're hitting 800. Okay. Are they going to go through this? Oh, they popped it. Will it hold or is it going to get faded from there? We just took it out 800. Like I said, wick. Let's see how this wants to get going. We're coming up to VWAP. VWAP is 850. We just took out 800. Where's my VWAP read? This is the session VWAP. It's up there. That's a nice. We popped up, saved it, popped, rejected, goes up, pulls back. Could be along the 850 here. It's popping. It's popping. Are we about to tag it? 852. Are we about to tag it? Well, just call it 850. Let's not overcomplicate it. Where's SPX at? Remember with SPX, there is a node at, what was it, 25? Well, what's weird about SPX right here is it's trying to go green now. This is the red to green test. Yesterday we closed at 413. There's a positive gamma node at 25. Yeah, and then the most negative up here is 35. So I guess we could call it 30 in the middle, somewhere right about here. But first, market needs to get above VWAP. We were riding RTH VWAP pretty clearly, then push above, higher low, broke out, retested. It's a decent bullish trade, 84 up to 800, runner to 850. That worked out well. That worked out well. VWAP rejection. Maybe. It's quite the overshoot. I see buyers here at 25. What are we doing with flow? Wow, that's a push. Holy crap. They're going, I guess, right for this 25. They're ripping that one. Wow. And flow is still. Let me reload this. What is going up today? Is it Apple? Apple is green. Apple is green. Look at that pump. 1 minute bullish, 5 minute pushing, 10 minute pushing, even 30 minute on the S&P 500 is now pushing. 1 minute bullish, 5 minute testing, 10 minute has not broken out. We need to break 900. 900 on that one. 30 minutes still bearish. So if you look at these larger time frames, the 10 and the 30, the 10 and the 30, it's telling you two very different stories here. The S&P 500 is trying to get going as it holds 400. The target is for somewhere between 425, 435. Once again, positive gamma, negative gamma, biggest node there. Yeah, like whatever. Call it 30, call it 25, call it whatever you want. If you rode this all the way up, that's probably an appropriate area to somewhat scale out at. The top of the negative gamma is all the way up 50. So I don't mind a little scale there, maybe scale at 50, and then whatever, the remainder portion of your position, you could set it to break even. Honestly, this is enough of a pop that you have to kind of question, if you haven't already gone break even, why not? Why not? Am I being stupid or is this a smart play?
Order filled.
Well, we're in it regardless. Where are we?
Order filled.
Both should have been there. I'm a little confused. Why did both not get filled at that level? Well, that's not good. They should have both been 5 points for the $200 that I needed. Fuck.
Order filled.
I don't know what happened there. Apparently the risk was what I've made on the day, but I'm really confused about that play. Or I guess I'm confused about the order. Both should have been there, which was a decent exit. So one locked in, the other one, the order was 10 points deeper, which, whatever. I mean, that's a bummer, but it just put me break even on the day. So I'm not going to be too pissed off about it. Going to try to not get tilted about the whole situation. Why the fuck did that happen? It must have been my ATM. That one wasn't a bot trade. I think it was the ATM strategy.
Order filled.
It fucking did it again. What is VWAP? I need to know where VWAP is. Can't really do lock in one. Obviously, this is the VWAP failure trade. Dude, lock it in. Come on.
Order filled.
Okay, good. Okay, updated appropriately. Updated appropriately. Is it going to hold below VWAP? That's the question. VWAP is this white dash line. We're at VWAP. Fuck. It's not going to be a breakdown. Nope. It's going to come tag me. Shit, that
Order
was
filled.
quick. That was so quick. These ranges are brutal. Is that just, no way did that just tag me to vomit anyway? Come on. Yep. That's a bummer. All right. Things are getting a little squirrely. Getting a little squirrely in terms of my psychology.
Order filled.
I feel like I'm getting a little chasey on this and quickly abandoning the discipline and the shit that I should have been doing all day.
Order filled.
Where can I reasonably put this risk, though? Okay, 25. Break even. Free trade. So I'm not risking anything, but I am 225 in the hole, which makes me kind of want to move it a little bit. But 805, it's not a bad fill. Or do I just say fuck it and this is a real rejection and just go for it? I could move it all the way up here and just swing for it. What do I need on the tradeifys? I think on the tradeifys, I need like 93 or something to pass the tradeifys. I'm just trying to do some quick math from here. Maybe 95. Oh, the question is, do I really want to hold it out for this? I kind of do. The real question is, do I go stop to break even, which is probably the conservative, good risk management thing to do, which I suppose if it takes out 809, is that this recent low? I could do that. All right. We'll make it a free trade because the bounce off of 800 could be aggressive. It could be aggressive. I just feel like if I give this room, it's going to work. But without giving it room, it could always wick me out first. So it's, do I really want to? This is a tough one. We're just going to hope for the best. I'm going to leave the stop at break even because if it does knock me, I could get out of a 200-point hole. If it rips all the way up to 900, maybe not. I also don't know how it's necessarily going to react here at 800. I'm overshooting it by a little bit. Generally, I wouldn't do that. Generally, I'd take it at 800, 801. But this is just because the tradeify needs a little bit more money, like 100 more bucks. So I'm trying to get exactly to 53 on this one trade, which probably shouldn't be doing that. Fuck. Come on. Hit 97. I needed 2 more points. Come on. Give it to me. No. Wrong way, brother. Wrong way, brother. We're going the wrong. Is it going to bounce? It might have just been a little bit too much, team. Might have been a little bit too much. A little bit too much. 2 points away. 97. I needed 95. That's a brutal development. All right, we're going to give this a second. The question is, do I want to do the real break even or do I want to leave it up at 76? I could always close out. How do I want to handle this? Failed at VWAP. We could reasonably retest VWAP. My issue is well, actually, if we fail from right here, that's actually a good place then to do my stop to break even. because that was that wick high. If it breaks down, it's a big if, but let's see. Let's give this a second. There's big ranges, so technically you need to be a little bit more calm and understand that the big ranges can go with you. They could hurt you. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. So at least now my stop, which is break even, is also a structural high. So like that's a reasonable way to play it. I obviously like a break even better than I like my risk at 76. And let's just see if it goes my way now. That was a little degenerate what I did, to be fair. I waited for the tag and it just so happened to be exactly my fill, but at least I took risk properly off the table. 809, it needs to take out. It's coming for me though. Let's see. Let's see how this one goes. Come on. Come on. Nope, wrong way. Red. Only red. Only red. Only red. Only red. What's it need to take out? 809. 809. Then I should be good. Hopefully. Come on. Take it out. Let's see. 808. Let's hear those 808s. 808s. There we go. All right. Go for it. Go for it. Give me my fill. 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 Go, go, go. Not again. Not again. No, no, no. Please stop. Please stop. Are you fucking kidding me? 98. Technically, that's a higher low by like 1 point. This is brutal. If you're dealing with unrealized drawdown, this is a tough environment because even if it goes in your favor, it's pulling back so hard, so aggressively. Come on, brother. Just take out. Come on, lock it in.
Order filled.
There we go. There we go. 53, 53, 53, 53, 53 past all of those tradeifys. And then for the other accounts, I'm just leaving it open because why not? Why not? What do I need? 1,700. Whatever. We'll do that. Stops at break even. It's a free trade. We're going to see how it goes. But did pass all the tradeifys 53, 53, 53, 53, 53. So actually works out really well because this happens to be the day that we are partnered up with Tradeify. So Tradeify is nice. They have no consistency. So you do have to trade 5 days, but you can actually have like pretty large swings, which is nice. But more than that, 40% off. And you could buy the bundles of 5 for like dirt cheap. So Tradeify, use that code Goonie. And actually, while I'm here, can I upgrade them? I'll show you the exact plans that I use. Let me sign in. Hang on, I don't want to show you my passwords or anything. It says that hang on, what did I do here? It says that I broke the consistency by how much more money do I need? Highest day's profit. Am I losing my mind? Total profit. How did I break? Someone explain this math to me. If my highest day's profit is below 1,200, how did I have 43% consistent? Unless these trades just didn't load yet, which is possible. Total profit. I think the total profit, because that's what I started with, it must have just not loaded yet because the math is not mathing. The math is not mathing. Shit, I was really close to hitting my other things, and now it's bouncing aggressively towards me. That's a bummer. Hey, that's a bummer. Yeah, it must not be loaded. So, I mean, I literally just did it, so I'm sure it takes like whatever 60 seconds or something for it to load, but should be good. At some point, I'll be able to upgrade all of these today as soon as those numbers. And some of the numbers did. Whoa, I almost got tagged there. How does he get away with it? I was off less than 1 point. This almost tagged me. Dude, folks, this is what I say. If you have the option between being lucky and being skillful when it comes to trading, always pick lucky. Always pick lucky. Look at that. Almost tagged out. And never mind. 30 points back in my favor. 30 points back in my favor. Dude, this is it. If you're going to be a trader, this is the skill you have to master. Don't get wicked out and then let it dive to your profit target. That's good trading. That you guys should be taking notes on this. Everyone in here should master this skill. Put your stop right before you get knocked out for it to vomit in your favor anyway. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, folks. If you're not doing that with your trades, what are you doing? Actually, nah, I'm just going to leave it at this point. If you get that lucky to not get knocked out, at this point, just keep it. At this point, just keep it. 49. So I need this breakdown of 68. I need the breakdown of 57. I only came up with this number to once again pass these tests. There's nothing really special about 49.50. In fact, it's kind of uniquely bad. I could have taken money at 82. I could take money at 57. There's probably better profit targets than arbitrarily 49.50. The issue that I have, wait, I could probably go up to 50 flat just in case it bounced there. 1760. Okay, yeah. I just need these all to go up 1.5K so I can pass all of those today. So we passed the Tradeifys. We're looking to pass the MFFs. We're looking to pass the Lucids. And that will all happen if this pukes down to 750. For some reason, the bot did not take the one trade I thought it should take today. Granted, it was just one. I don't think it would have taken other trades, but we'll see how it goes. It might have a delay or bug because I have the same issue. Yeah, I'm sure it's just slightly delayed. Patience will be fine. I mean, I could see from my numbers that I passed it. I mean, and even some of its numbers, highest day's profit, 1.2. Well, 1.2 is 40%. It's a little less than 40%, 1,194, when I made 3,018. So basic math tells me I'm good. I just need to be a bit patient with it, which no big deal. No big deal. SPY slowing down a little bit. Huge rip. We didn't tag 400. We're finding support at the 1 minute 50 EMA. We got as high as 21. And remember, my zone was somewhere between 25 and 35. I really did think it was going to go a little bit more, but I guess just they ran out of follow through on that one. The Mag 7 is picking up pretty much since 1040. And then looking at the NASDAQ, we popped up, we pulled back a little bit. But what I'm looking at is, do we hold 407? And if we don't, how do we react to 400? On NQ, do we push above?
Order filled.
Never mind. We just got our answer. We are pushing above it. Okay, I just got knocked out. Did something just get announced? That was a big burst of trading out of nowhere. You could see it above my head on the book map. Something just happened. What happened? Did Trump say something? We know Trump is chit-chatting today. No. Is anyone else seeing news? Someone just had a big chunk of trading that knocked me out of my position for break even. What was that? Anyone seeing any news? Anyone seeing any news? News. Yes, no, maybe so. And actually, Big wick up. Did not hold. Big wick up. Now we're breaking down. Well, that sucks. This is going for my target. It just wicked me out. Not that I would have been able to withstand that pump. Well, maybe I would have. It was about 40 points, $800. Yeah, I could have, but I don't know. Rather safe than sorry. Rather than safe than sorry. We don't need to tempt the market gods today. We don't need to tempt the market gods today. What is this low? What is this five? What was that? Did you guys find the news? He said tariffs won't hurt the economy. Trump live with Netanyahu. Oh, well, that's what the market's reacting to, and it did wick me out, unfortunately. Unfortunately. We'll see how it plays. We'll give this a second to breathe. Trump's getting going, so you never know what's going to happen with the market. You never know what's going to get happening there. I guess I kind of wish I had a little bit in the profit. High or low? We're going. Apple's going. Apple. Move aside, NVIDIA. There is a new king in the market, a return of a previous king, Apple. Now the #1 company in the world based on market cap, just below $5 trillion. And if you look at the daily chart, it is looking mighty fine. Ever since April, AAPL, Apple, the company selling us all of our iPhones that we're addicted to, is nothing but Rip City. I don't know. I find it to be really, really impressive. And I did see this that I want to share with you. It's official. Apple is now the second company in history to surpass the 5 trillion market cap mark. This makes Apple the largest company in the world, now 6% larger than NVIDIA. If you put $10,000 in Apple just over 2 decades ago, 2003, you would now have $15 million. Once again, for those who maybe did not hear me, if you put $10,000 into Apple in 2003, you would now have $15.5 million. Makes you wonder, what were you doing in 2003 that you did not do this? I was in 8th grade trying to figure out my life, so I feel like I have an excuse. But do you have an excuse on that one? $15.5 million. Well, I guess that's what happens if you're able to pick the #1 company in the world. 15.5 million. That's crazy. That's craziness. Craziness. Oh, where are we at? What are we doing? Well, I guess I can't complain too bad about getting knocked out for break even because I'd be underwater now. This S&P 500 flow is just ripping, folks. It's still going. I did not realize what time it is. My apologies. We're way over on today's show. Okay. Well, you guys kind of saw where I'm at. I'm down by 10 points on these, which was a bummer. I was being a little greedy with it, but I did pass all the trade-ifies, so that's pretty freaking nice. The trade-ifies, speaking of which, pretty solid. I really enjoy them. 40% off. Better deal if you buy the groupings of 5, and you have until the end of this week, aka the end of this month, to take advantage of this deal. Don't forget to use that code Goonie. More important than that, thank you to all of you. I appreciate all the good vibes. Market's been pretty crazy. I think we're still going to have some good opportunity later on, but obviously that's just my opinion on things. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to be posting content later on today, and then we're going to be streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., bright and early, trying to get back to the new schedule, or the new old schedule, or whatever you want to call it. But that's what we're trying to get back to. So I'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll post content later on today. Good luck with Tradeify, and thanks for all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Peace.